Welcome back to our series of videos on the advanced volume trading. So we're going to use this video to go through definitions of the volume indicators. We'll need to have 2 or 3 different definition videos before we can start to get a firm grasp of what's going on. But what I want to draw your attention to first is underneath the candles, you will sometimes see different colors of markers, right? And then sometimes you will see them on top of the bars. You won't see them both on top and the bottom, so they will either be on the bottom of the candles or on top of the candles. If they are on the bottom of the candle, that is an indication of buying volume of some degree. So for instance, this is an indication that there was sufficient buying going on in this candle to give us a marker. This was on top of the candle, so this would be a suggestion or an indication that there was significant volume selling on that particular candle. So let's go through the definitions. There are 3 different colors in each direction. So therefore there is a total of 6 different colors. And there's a couple of new things as well for you to learn. As before, green indicates the lowest ratio of buying to selling that's going on. So if their marker is green, that there was buying going on, but it's the lowest ratio that that the software will capture. The next ratio is this violet kind of color, light purple violet kind of color. So that's the medium volume ratio. And then there's a higher ratio. The orangish color is a high volume ratio. And there's even a new category in this release, and that's a very high ratio. I didn't want to use a new color. I just indicated the high ratio with a larger point. So as you can see, this one, this one, these 2 up here, those are very high ratio buying. Okay, and so that's just a new version of there. On the selling side, the smallest ratio of selling is yellow. So yellow would be the smallest ratio of selling. You see one there. You can see them occasionally. So there, here, etc. So that's the smallest ratio of selling. The medium level of selling is pink. So you can see a couple of pinks here. You see pink here. You see pink here, etc. So those are the medium ratios of selling, just like it was last time. The highest ratio of selling is red, and you can see there's small reds, just like there were small oranges, and there are large reds. Just like there were large oranges. The smaller red is a high ratio selling. The larger red points are very high ratio. So there's actually 4 different levels of selling, but we only use 3 different colors just so we don't get too confused. We can kind of keep our visual definitions succinct. So those are the color definitions and for each one of the candles. Now you'll see a couple of things new in this version, and that is that sometimes you'll actually see 2 points. Okay, so there's one there. Let me mark a few of these on the screen. You can see 2 points on this one. You can see 2 points on that one. Both of these have 2 points on them, etc. And let's see, to get an example here. This purple one has 2 points on it. Let me get one more because I want to make a point here. This pink one is also a high one. Okay, so if it has 2 points on it, that means it was actually a higher volume. The actual number of contracts in that bar was higher volume than the previous number of bars average. Okay, so in that case, not only does that bar have a ratio that is supporting buying in this case, right? Important buying in this case, but it's also the number of contracts that were traded was higher than the average in this area. So and then sometimes you will see both the double markers and the tail. And the tail on, if it's a double marker, will be wide, right? So that wide tail just goes along with the double marker, indicating that it was higher average volume. Okay, so that's the definition for that. And the next thing we want to talk about is the tails themselves. See, occasionally all bars don't have tails. You see a tail here and tails here, and this group has tails. And then coming on the downside, we can see all these tails over here, we see all these tails over here. Now, what that means is, and typically you will only see tails in one direction. A tail on a bar means that that candle has passed all of the filter tests that you have selected in the input section. So the ones with tails are your primary considerations for entry points. Okay, so if not initially, then on the subsequent bar. So as you can see, this bar had a tail and it went up nicely. As you can see, it was going up on the long side. The moving averages were moving up. We haven't talked about the colors of the bars yet, but the colors of the bars were cyan, meaning that was in an uptrend. We had confirming volume, so that would have been a good trade to the long side, just as an example. Here it moved up as well. And as you can see, as the market turns around, right, and is heading significantly lower, now we're getting tails on top of the bars, meaning potential selling entry points. We're going short the market on these particular tails. And we'll go through all the discussions on good tails versus not so good tails on what to enter. It is still a discretionary trading technique, and you'll need to filter out some of these tails as potential entries with the rules. If you notice, I don't have the pivot points loaded into the chart right now, and that was just to give you a little bit better visual aspects on that. So those are the definitions on the volumes, the points, the tails, and the high volume points in this video, and we'll cover more in future videos.